Hey there, fellow toy aficionados. Welcome back. David Eon here in the Open by Chance Toy Museum. And today we are doing another catalog tour. It's been a while since I've had time to do one, but here we go. And today we will be looking at the Hasbro 1994 Toy Fair Dealers Catalog. And as you can see, 30th anniversary G.I. Joe is very prominently displayed on the cover. These were a hot item at that time. You'll also see, as we open up to the table of contents, this is a thick catalog. This is after the basic absorption, as it were, of Coleco, Tonka, Kenner. Hasbro took over a lot of properties. There you see Cabbage Patch, which was from Coleco. And it'll start off with like baby stuff and girly toys. And, you know, I'll give you a moment to go ahead and take a look at the pages before we move on. I know most of the people that are watching this are going to be more particularly interested in the action figure offerings that are in this catalog. And there's a lot. There is a lot. 94 produced a lot of product, particularly from Hasbro, which is still one of the biggest toy manufacturers in the world at this point. Their stock's holding up pretty well. There's the Crimp and Curl Pony Cabbage Patches. I think this is about at the tail end of any interest in Cabbage Patch. The whole Cabbage Patch craze was dead by now. The little bunnies, Easter Cabbage Patch, baby bunnies, it says. Incredible. But they were pulling out all the stops to try to keep this relevant. Sort of reminds me of where Funko is now. Baby surprises. It's too much. It was too much then. And most of this did not retain value. Puppy surprise and pony surprise. I remember these. I remember these being advertised. Are you familiar with these? I do not have the price list on here. Usually prices are not included with the descriptions, but they get a pricing sheet. I don't think I have the pricing sheet for this one. Kitty surprise, bunny surprise, pet surprise. I guess you just don't know what the hell's in the box. And it comes in a little pet carrier box like this, which is a cute idea, actually. And Fur Time Babies. Oh, man. Dream Up Baby Pups and Baby Kitties. Puppy Surprise Bath Pup Surprise. They swim. Their arms paddle. That's interesting. Actually, Sleep and Surprise. Are you surprised? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. And then Elvis. You remember the Elvis dolls, don't you? There's Elvis and Priscilla and the little mock-up cake there. Celebrity dolls have always been popular. I'm not so sure about the likeness on either of those. But, you know, what do you expect? More Elvis. And you've probably seen these. You have probably seen these. I know I see these from time to time at conventions when we do the shows. Usually the box is just beat to death, though. The packaging on these is in terrible condition usually, or yellowed out. Just looking really bad. So I don't know, they might have some value if the packaging is really impressive. Makeup Beauty and Treasure Rocks. So I guess, you know, make your own makeup kits. Oh, you're supposed to... Is that what it is? Yeah. Yeah, place treasure rocks in warm water and change them into beautiful jewels. So they're like bath bombs. They dissolve into little gemstones, and then you make your little fake jewelry. and more of it. They must have been all in that year with this new Treasure Rocks idea. And we are currently on page 27, if you can believe it. 27 already. But it's a big catalog. I think it's damn near 90 pages in here. Cut It Out, little art projects. A Fashion Faces little makeup kit. Turns into a real light-up vanity. Oh yeah, let's teach our children to put on makeup. I don't agree with that, but that's a personal take. I don't like makeup on adults, let alone children. Fantastic Flowers, Color Surprise. Making flowers, I guess, yeah. It's like origami-ish, but it uses a stamp kit and a press. I'd rather the kid learn origami. That's a skill. Fantastic Blossoms. What do you do with that? More flowers? Or ribbons? Fantastic Blossoms bow making set. All right. And sticker machine. This is like the kind of stuff that like your aunt buys you for Christmas when she can't think of anything and she's on her way to your house, and then they give it to you and you use it once and you never see it again. Real Power Tool Shop. That's interesting. Learning to die cut with their little safety saw. Wood lathe and drill press. A Tonka project, and of course, yeah, Tonka being one of the properties absorbed by Hasbro. One day I suspect they'll absorb Funko, either Hasbro or Disney. Nightmare Before Christmas, that was a great film. And this is the original action figure lineup, although the figures are technically bendies. The majority of them are bendies. I used to have this complete set, the small figures and the deluxe size or 6th scale. I no longer do. I would get them again if I can get decent representations. A lot of them have damaged cards. They didn't sell well initially, and they all ended up on clearance. And so it's hard to find really decent cards for a lot of these. But yeah, favorite line of mine. I would get this line again. I think it's a classic film now, Halloween or Christmas. And no, I don't think there should be a sequel. I think that would be a mistake. WWF wrestlers. And these are the ones with the little thumb depression on the back to make them like do some kind of function. Brutus the Barber Beefcake was never that beef. Scott and Rick Steiner, $1 Million Man, where's his belt? You know, that was his belt that he commissioned himself, the $1 Million belt. He paid $40,000 out of pocket, solid 6 pounds of sterling silver with 24 karat gold plate and I think 700 cubic zirconias to simulate diamonds. 40,000 out of pocket to promote his character himself. He still owns the belt to this day, to my understanding. There's some more of them. I still like the LJN ones better. The LJN ones are amazing and amazingly expensive on the card. LJN is still pretty valuable. Page 40, Conan. And my wife has this complete action figure lineup, including the horses. She has all of these figures, Conan the Barbarian, and this one does demonstrate for you packaging. Oops, I went too far or too close. That's how they came packaged. And she does have that entire set. And it's a nice set based on the Conan the Adventurer after school cartoon series. Only 8 figures in the line. Well, 10, because there is a 2-pack. There they are. And those are the horses that each come with a figure of their own. They each come with their own figure. And it's an interesting looking figure. They're large size figures, like in the 10-inch range. But she does have the entire lineup. And these are really hard to find on the card too. You never see these at shows. Hardly ever. If you do, they're falling off the card or they're loose. Street Fighter, a Raw era G.I. Joe, where you can see that they've just kind of redid some of their existing vehicles. I used to have a whole set of these as well. But yeah, Street Fighter World Warriors. And Hasbro started cranking this kind of stuff out around the same time that Van Damme was in the Street Fighter film with Raul Julia. Really goofy film, but man, Raul Julia sells it. He acts his ass off in that film. He had a good time, you can tell. And more recreations, recastings of existing G.I. Joe vehicles and accessories to make them Street Fighter worthy, as it were. I mean, that's obviously the Dragonfly. This stuff I don't think I had. I know I had a lineup of the figures. I don't think I had any of the vehicles or play sets for this line, which of course I no longer have, but it is what it is. You know, what are you going to do? Things happen. And more figures. Kind of looks like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. This, of course, is the 1/6 scale line. And then these are figurines. Die-cast figures, it says. And you would get 2 in a package. So these are together, these are together, these are together, and so on. You get the idea. And the Transformers, naturally, which is one of these lines. I don't think they ever really stopped making Transformers, did they? I don't think they ever really stopped making them at any point. If Hasbro wasn't doing it, Takara was doing it, somebody was doing it. But they've been cranking out Transformers, well, actually, even before they were available in the United States. As many of you may be aware, Hasbro adapted a toy line from Takara that started in 1974. So since 1974, have they really stopped making these? I don't know. It's got to be one of the longest running toy lines, next to G.I. Joe, which has gone through many incarnations. More Transformers. There's the Rotor Force. I mean, how do you even keep up? Laser rods. And these are interesting. They use pneumatic pressure to launch rockets. That is, that they have an air pump. And we are on page 54. Look at that thing, Dreadwing. It's a lot of rockets. And then, of course, the Megatron tank, which is all they'll do anymore because they don't want to make a transforming gun. At least Hasbro doesn't. And there was that talking, electronic lights, sound, and speech, talking Optimus Prime. He's just basically just got a big squawk box that you put buttons on it. And I love the trailer that says Optimus. Stargate, underrated toy line. Kenner Star, not Kenner, but Hasbro Stargate. Did it come with a Kenner tag on it? I'm trying to remember, because again, at this point, Hasbro owns Kenner. And I thought that the Stargate was under the Kenner banner. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. This is obviously a retooling of a G.I. Joe vehicle. The Stargate line, if you're interested, is still a very affordable toy line. It's still very affordable. You can get these fairly cheap. And of course, these are based on the film, not any of the television shows. A couple more Stargate pieces. There's a Mustache, the animal, and then their winged glider. But yeah, this is an inexpensive line. You can get this cheap if you're looking for inexpensive 90s toys and action figures, which we did an entire video talking about vintage action figures that are cheaper than their modern counterparts. We did one for the 70s, one for the 80s, and one for the 90s, and I believe Stargate was on the 90s one. Here's your G.I. Joe, right at the tail end of G.I. Joe's a Raw. They because I know a lot of people will cut it off at 1989. A Raw era collectors will cut off at 1989. They don't want to come this far. This is around the time of Sergeant Savage too, isn't it? I liked the Sergeant Savage line. Actually. And despite how disliked some of these are to Raw collectors, they're still pretty hard to find, packaged. And here's that same playset that you just saw with the Street Fighter line. They just changed all the color. Changed all the color and made it the new G.I. Joe headquarters. It's the Blockbuster, the Razor Blade helicopter. You know, with these figures too, they came on a taller card. So when you get the classic 3 3/4 inch clamshell protector, if you do that with your action figures, those won't fit in it. They're too tall. Pretty much everything else made in the 70s and 80s will fit, but not those. And now we're getting into Shadow Ninjas. Look at this one. Dip figure into ice water to see a color change. Did it work that well? Like what they're suggesting in the picture here? Secret Inviso Power body armor. And Street Fighter 2, because what the hell, we may as well crank out some more Street Fighter figures. Reusing as much a Raw era G.I. Joe parts and pieces and accessories as possible. I mean, that's obviously Road Pig. And it's supposed to be Guile, is what it says here. Sonic Boom Tank with Guile. That's Road Pig. They just repainted him. I mean, am I wrong? What do you think? Pretty positive. I like that packaging better. It looks better to me than the blue packaging that was on the other Joe line specific. Just strikes me better. It's more colorful, I thought. More of these. Of course, these are the 12-inch ones. Blanca looked absolutely ridiculous. I actually had these too. I had the 12-inch figures, and the the 30th anniversary Joes. I was doing a lot of that in the 90s because it was all the time finding it on clearance. Hall of Fame. You can get the 12-inch Hall of Fames really cheap. I remember getting 12-inch Hall of Fames at KB for like $1.98. It's like, oh my God. It was $1.98 or $2.98. Star Brigade. And then this. I see this loose, incomplete at shows from time to time. The Armor Bot. Loose and incomplete. I actually had these because I thought it was cool because they were astronauts and aliens and stuff. I had these carded. I no longer do. And we're in the 70s already. Manimals and Armor Tech Fighters. The Armor Tech Fighters are kind of clunky. I think the more G.I. Joe moved away from a traditional military look and the more obscure it got like this, the more it alienated traditional collectors in the raw era and even today. I mean, some of this is really highly sought after, don't get me wrong, but I think the initial raw collectors were like, nah, you know what, this is going too far. And here's your 30th Salute series, and I had these, I had these, I had this set, the original Action Team, I had the Mail Away Joseph Colton's, all the versions. And of course the larger figures, 30th Salute Hall of Fame figure assortments, the big deluxe box with the anniversary packaging. More 30th anniversary, Talking Battle Command, Duke, vehicles. There's your Strike Cycle in 6th scale, your Rhino in 6th scale. It's pretty cool. And a lot of this isn't too expensive aftermarket now either. You can find it cheap. Toddler stuff. You knew it was coming. But we won't waste a crap ton of time here. This is all Tonka related. I don't remember these figures from Tonka at all, but this isn't something I would have been looking at in the 90s anyways. Mighty Tonkas. Still mostly die-cast, but moving away from the die-cast era for Tonka. Do they even make Tonka in die-cast at all anymore? Just curious. More Tonka die-cast. This comes with 3 3/4 inch figures, and I always liked that. I like the sets, Tonka sets, that came like this. And the older ones from the 70s and 80s can be quite expensive if they're unopened and with the figures still. Here's another one with a figure, and you get a dog. You can't beat it when it comes with an animal. That's fantastic. The electronic talk and play fire truck. I don't like toys that have a lot of electronic gimmicks, make a lot of noise and things like that. I'd rather just see the child use their imagination. But otherwise, that's pretty cool that it comes with a fireman figure and a little dog, though. More Tonka. Again, absorbed by Hasbro at this point. I don't remember these either, but again, this isn't something I would have been too interested in the 90s. More Tonka. It says it really smokes. Oh, there you go. There's an example of it smoking. I guess you put water in it and it gives a puff of steam. Screaming Racers, Chainsaw Steel Monster. And that's it. Now you get barcodes, and these would be the codes that would be scanned by the vendor to place orders pertaining to their price sheet, which obviously I don't believe I have the price sheet for this one. Sometimes I have the price sheet with the catalog, sometimes I do not, but that's all you got here is just a lot of barcodes, because yeah, we're done. We are done with the G.I. Joe, not G.I. Joe specifically, but Hasbro Toy Fair 1994 Dealers Catalog. Thoughts? Anything in there really stand out for you? I'm sure this wasn't it. Would you like to see more tours? I've got a bunch of these that I've done. Been a while, like I said, since I've been able to. Notice here where it says like TV. When it says that, it means that they intend to do a lot of commercial advertising for the product. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section down below. Anything specifically really stand out for you? Tell us about it. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. I sure hope you did. Hit the hype if you have the option. It's supposed to help the channel. I don't know if it works. Check out some of our other videos if you're new. And if that is it, then what more can I say? But thanks for watching. And we will see you again soon.